clown, and the clown brought his own personal clown along.
It's the clown daddy.
Isn't that sort of like when you buy a pet for your pet? Okay. Well, anyway, they're both here. And I'll tell you who we're talking about. This is Terrifier and Terrifier 2. And it's the fucking clown is the one on top, and the fucking clown director is the one on the bottom.
As it should be.
Yeah, as well, you know. I didn't really know how clown section worked.
Like him in the
but
Brady
there's
Bunch.
a big clue right there. So, guys, what do you think we're talking about now?
Sorry, I'm having too much fun.
They're scratching each other. It's like they're both apes.
I'm not as good at impressions as Dave is. I'm sorry.
That was an impression?
Yeah. Impression.
So, in case you don't know what Terrifier is, it's the story of a lost and wayward soul who sort of, you know, has this makeup thing on, you know, and then he proceeds to split women in half and stuff like that. So first of all, who wrote the script for the first one?
I did.
You did.
Mm-hmm.
Who wrote the script for the second one?
I did.
Gotcha. So is this one going to be the same lighthearted romp that the first one was?
It's a family picture.
Yeah. More family values in this one.
That's right.
Feel good family pictures. A rom-com too.
Nostalgia pop from Felissa Rose.
Hey. Yep.
Ironically, there really is more family in this film. It actually centers around.
It is a family picture.
The entire film centers around a mother, daughter, and son. But whereas the first film was very simplistic and we really just focused on Art as a character, just developing him and just showcasing what he's all about. Now,
wait. What you're saying is the first one was an art piece?
That was our intention.
Yeah, that's the
So, Jesus.
You know that my entire focus on the rest of this interview is to set you off of your pins. You know that, right, Damien?
Oh boy.
He's used to it from me.
Hey, Art's already Art the clown has already been up against me in this regard. It's your turn,
Dave. Mine. I don't know.
Dave.
Yeah. What was I saying? Where was I? What was I talking about? Oh yeah, the first one being simple, and then this one we're really focusing on the story and a bit more of the mythology, fleshing out characters and really following the protagonist, the heroine Sienna in this one, and her journey.
Because I have to tell you, in the first one, particularly when David was cutting the woman in half, the most important thing to me at that point was backstory.
What?
Her back.
First time backstory. I get it.
Yeah, I get
I always call it the up at the crack of dawn scene.
Yeah,
Dawn.
really. Yeah. Because she was a stripper, right? Dawn. Okay. By the way, the first one was a family story, though. There was a woman and her sister, right?
Correct.
Okay, so
siblings. Yep.
And by the way, the killing off of the obvious, I have to say that really on the first one, and I don't want to give anything away, but I'm going to completely.
Spoil.
The killing off of the obvious final girl, which just it literally. I don't know if you intended it to have that kind of visceral reaction, but I almost shit myself. And by almost, I mean I shit myself.
So were you just shocked, or were you disappointed? Were you, I don't know. Yeah, like what?
Yeah. You know what? I was shocked and disappointed, and
you didn't wear your Depends.
And very uncomfortable because I had to be, because I was just sitting there thinking I got to make it to the end of this so I can get cleaned up.
I like that. That's kind of what we were going for. I knew we were gonna really piss some people off by doing that. But it wasn't so much for the shock value. I mean, we knew that was obviously going to be a part of it, but it was really for setting up Art as a character that you really couldn't feel safe around no matter what. And we would take the lead character out if need be, just to keep him really uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
I like the kind of the mystic edge of him at the very end, you know, because well, you know what? That's going to be too far of a spoiler. I'm not even going to get into the rest of that. But it has led to what the fuck just happened, just as happening here, right? Because this is all happening again.
Yep.
Now, can I ask you a question? Now, obviously, Terrifier was on. It was released free, right?
It was on Netflix.
Netflix, that's what I mean.
Yes.
Okay, it was on Netflix. How many people have seen it?
I have no idea. They don't give you that information. It's impossible to find out.
Oh, that's how do you continue your life without metrics? My God,
I don't know. The only thing I could tell that it does that it's doing decent on there is when you go into their horror section, they keep it at the top.
Yeah,
right.
Which is a good sign. I mean, sometimes it's the first movie listed in the horror section or in the independent section. So I guess it's doing pretty well.
But they don't give you any kind of
analytics
information in it. That seems so weird because, you know, information is it seems like that's the thing that
drives you.
Yeah, that you live and die for is other than you can say that you got it on Netflix, right?
Correct. Maybe they don't want to give you the upper hand in any way.
That's what I'm afraid. And the reason that I kind of fear that sort of thing is there's a lot of it seems like a lot of films head towards Netflix, and I wonder because you never know. I could have a film heading towards Netflix, and I just want to. I just noticed some really kind of funky things about their business model that seem odd. Now, is it? If you don't mind my probing you.
Oh, ask away. I mean, the only thing is we don't deal with them. It's our distributor. So I've never been personally in contact with anybody at Netflix. I have no idea what's going on over there.
Got you. And your distributor. Your deal with the distributor is a one-time payment, or that's it?
They actually break it down into 4 quarters over 2 years. That's how Netflix pays you.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's very interesting, but it seems awfully strongly leaning towards Netflix's favor. I just mean,
it always is. It's never unless you're huge, huge. I don't know, like Martin Scorsese. I'm sure gets the world when he's dealing with Netflix. You know what I mean? But
well, yeah, but yeah, I just wonder because it is the ever evolving thing of the 2000s is how distribution happens, right?
Yeah.
We're rebuilding the entire structure of the of how films are paid for, how films, what people are making. It's all been completely broken down. It was one way. I keep saying this. I keep saying that we're repeating what happened at the turn of last century, last century. In the 1900s, it was the technical way of dealing with film itself was determined, and then from that point on, there was a certain business structure that grew with it, and without too many changes, it pretty much went the same direction all the way up until the 2000s, when digital completely rebuilt the world of film, completely changed everything. And right now we're in the same boat with distribution.
Yeah. I think it was two things. I think it was obviously the streaming, and then Hollywood just catering to that 1% of the masses and only making superhero movies really and things like that and huge budget. So it split everything up, and TV became really big, and just binge watching shows became bigger than ever. Quality writing went into shows like Breaking Bad and things like that. So everything has changed. And
the fall. I'm just saying the falling the price of equipment and the lower threshold to being able to enter the equipment field itself. I mean, you don't have film anymore,
right? Anybody can make a movie and a quality that people will accept now, because
I swear to God, it's the problem. I watch a lot of black and white films. I'm currently totally into 20s and 30s and 40s films, and the quality of film at the time in black and white tended to be in slightly better focus actually than color films for the longest time, because of the nature of the color process made for a very thick film.
Okay.
And it wasn't thinned out until late 50s, and so when you're looking at that, you see all these varying degrees of quality, and yet it is very difficult to look at something that was done before the year 2000 and understand that that's the best it was. You know what I mean?
Why? I mean, when's the last time you looked at a VHS? It's unimaginable that was the quality that we
isn't it?
And seeing it in 4:3, nobody even knew what a widescreen the actual image was until years later, unless you saw it in the theaters.
Absolutely. I want to tell you something. This is really funny. Is that now that we've opened up those frames, it is really interesting because I used to film with those cameras. Okay. And you would know if you were filming because you would see the full frame, right?
Right.
And so there would be a frame rim, and usually the frame rim was created with pieces of tape. It was like piece of tape here, piece of tape there, and a piece of tape here, and a piece of tape there, and that's what the actual frame is going to be.
Your TV box, right?
Well, either the TV or the movie. I mean, they were right, and it's amazing the shit that we missed because of that.
Oh my God.
Deans, as they have started to move out into the wide frame, there is a scene in
Teen Wolf.
Teen Wolf, right? There's a scene in Teen Wolf where now that we see the widened out screen, you can literally see the cops the cops on motorcycles with the flashing yellow lights on either side of the truck when he's surfing up there on the roof. I swear to God, I was like, what the fuck is this? I don't remember that from way back in the day.
Oh, that's great.
That's amazing. You know, I just saw Jaws is possible. It is my favorite movie of all time.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah. So I grew up watching it taped off of television and then on VHS, not until the DVD came out years later did I actually see it. And the version that I grew up watching had so many more shots because they would actually, there's a lot of wide shots in Jaws. So they would turn a lot of shots into singles.
Right.
Crop it all. So I was used to a completely different edited movie. And then you had all of a sudden you're just seeing these wide shots. All of a sudden you're not cutting to the individual characters. And it's just it's wild. So wild.
Right. Well, and also it so depends on the print that you got and what they were using that print for back in the day. And like which one survives, particularly on films that I've worked with that I've seen a lot, like Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and Nightmare on Elm Street 4. I can tell when it was a good print.
Uh-huh.
I can also tell when it was one that they ordered because, we got to get more prints because these are really popular because they're so much more popular than horror films normally are, right?
Yeah.
And so then they just put out these shitty prints that have all kinds of like shit on them and they didn't care. And everything's a little bit washed out. Like for instance, particularly like Freddy's Hell in Nightmare on Elm Street 3 can be all the way from a very sumptuous kind of yellow and red experience to being so washed out in red. There's one print out there that's so washed out in red that you can't even tell what's going on. And all of that is kind of going by the wayside, I mean, the incredible clarity.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is even when we're faking the look of the old time, and we're trying to get
about that. How you feel about that? People trying to achieve that look.
Well, yeah, the thing is if you do it well, there's some good ways to do it and some bad ways to do it.
I know about bad ways to do it.
Well, that sounds a little personal. Yeah, but let's face it. The latest thing to do is to try and get a bunch of shitty Russian lenses from 1990. and then see if you can assemble them really badly. and then finally you can get the background a little bit out of focus. But digitally it looks terrible, but all these things. But the thing is then you begin to realize it. I mean, these days, people are always talking about, oh yeah, you know what? We're going to go get us some 70s glass. What did you use on doing the nightmares? Well, we used 70s glass because that's what there was. God damn it.
Yep. Old. Yeah. New equipment.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, we were trying to figure out because I'm always trying to give Terrifier a retro look.
Right.
And we, but that glass is still so expensive. I mean, my dream is to
God.
So
I got some Giallo vibes from the first one.
We still try and inject some of that Dario Argento.
Yeah.
That vibe.
Mick actually got introduced to Argento for the first time this year through Deep Red.
No way.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, hey, listen, you know what? I tell them all the time. I said, you know what? You keep mentioning films that I should have seen.
Okay, kid. I was too busy making them to watch them. There it is.
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's fucking kids.
No, I get that though, because that's how I am now. I don't really watch too many new movies. I'm just so consumed with my own work, and people ask me what I think about new movies. They don't really do it for me. I still just watch the ones I grew up loving over and over, the ones from the 70s and the 80s. And
you know what? I got to tell you, as a guy who's had a little bit of sampling and been there and looking at the old movies and some of the new and a lot of the new movies too. I have to say, the new movies are great. You know, I mean, the thing is, there's so many more of them.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, I think that there's a lot of more technical experience that needs to be taken from people who worked in the film business with the professional backing of 120 years of filmmaking. But when a bunch of kids get together and do it right, man, some of the new stuff is fucking amazing. Knock your socks off kind of stuff. Really, it is. You know, I mean,
speaking of things that knock the socks off, I got a couple Terrifier questions, if you don't mind.
Yeah, in fact, one of them. Hold on. I know you're gonna ask your questions in a second. One of those is Terrifier.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Just
I don't know whether I believe you or not, but thank you.
Hey, I don't have to lie. I don't have a lot of time left on this earth to justify it.
I like that. That's,
You know what? It's like, you know, it isn't going to be the last 10 words that I say are going to be absolutely everything that Spielberg did was perfect. And he's not going to say that.
Famous last words.
Famous last words, yeah. Go ahead. You were going to do questions.
So, Damien, from a writing and directing standpoint, how is Terrifier 2 going to be turned up to 11 or 12? Is that from Terrifier 1? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We say that a lot. Like I said before, really in terms of the story, the scope is much bigger. The characters are much more well drawn in this one. We really focus more on the female protagonist as opposed to Art, even though Art is very much in this one. He's probably in this one more than he is in the first one. This is a longer movie. So that was the challenge, really, just bringing in these new elements, because we know that the slasher element is going to work for at least for the people who enjoy the first one. That's all still there. We didn't I made sure I was conscious about keeping everything that worked from the first one in this one, but just trying to expand on things that a lot of people had problems with, which was, of course, the simplistic plot and characters that you didn't really care about. So I took a lot more time with the screenwriting and really trying to develop these characters and make sure you care about their journey.
Awesome. Well, speaking of characters, DHT, how are you going to make that? How are you going to make Terrifier 2's portrayal of Art a little special?
I made him a little bit more cocky, I would say. This time.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's a lot more confident in himself now, knowing, after the events of the first film and how he's come back, he's like, okay, now I'm a little bit tougher than I thought I was. I can take a little bit more punishment than I realized, so I can have more fun.
And the hit movie.
That helps a lot, right?
It always helps. Yeah, there you go.
Into that character trait.
Yeah.
Can you go to a modern convention when they were having them without hearing the Art horn at this point?
Yeah. There's always someone.
I haven't.
There's always someone now. Yeah. I've noticed. Yeah, there's always at least one person there. And it's even at conventions that I'm not at, I'll see videos of people at other conventions and they're dressed up as Art and stuff like that. And some people have gotten really creative with it too, where they'll do a gender bent art or something like that. They have kids dressed up as Art, but they're doing something different with it. And it's really cool to see.
Absolutely.
Art the artist clown.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Artist, formerly known as Art.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Just carrying a guitar around with a big question mark. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
What was it like working with Felissa Rose?
Oh, awesome.
I didn't get to work with her, so this is a Damien question.
Okay.
Spoiler.
Yeah,
she's just. I mean, you've met her and spoken to her in person. Have you ever?
I haven't. Mick?
Oh,
nope.
Oh, all right, yeah. I mean, she's like the nicest, sweetest person, just an amazing energy. And she just totally brought that. She just had us laughing, cracking up all day. I mean, we only worked with her for one day, so I can't even imagine how amazing it would be to work with her on an entire shoot. Just really contagious, great energy. She's awesome.
So, questions. I have a budget question.
Mhm.
Yeah, how do you like this? I have all the nut and bolt questions.
Yeah.
They crowdfunded too, Mick.
Yeah, I was curious about that. What was your crowdfund?
We set the goal for 50,000, and then because we had a couple of investors, so we were ready to shoot, and then there was a big scene that we didn't have enough money for. We wanted this big sort of massacre scene, so we did the crowdfund for 50,000, and then we wound up actually hitting a goal of 220 or something like that.
220,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Real quick. I was covering the story like on my podcast as unfolding. It was like in 72 hours, they were fucking destroying crowdfunding goals.
Yeah.
oh my God,
Yeah,
that's great.
It was wild. We didn't expect that.
We reached our goal in just a few hours. It was insane. It was like, what?
So,
And thankfully we did get that extra money because one of our investors who gave us a huge chunk of our budget bailed out like right after.
Boy.
So we wouldn't have even been able to make the move
doesn't that seem to be like a prerequisite for a modern film?
Yeah.
I mean, like, we didn't really hear that much about that sort of thing back in the day, because they were because they were companies that made films,
right. They had their bank account for it, right.
But it seems like a prerequisite for you can't. You got to hold your breath as you're putting everything together, and then wait for Bill to pull his money, right? And then you go, we got that prerequisite done,
Right.
Now we're officially an independent film of the day.
Yeah. Trying to raise money is the most soul-crushing experience ever. It's the worst part. And you meet so many people that tell you, "Oh yeah, I'm going to give it to you," and they just drag you along. They drag you through the mud.
Oh, God.
And they never give you the money. This is 9 out of 10, whatever. 99 out of 100 people. That's the same thing that happened.
Yeah, vengeance. And you know what? In regards to that, is there always seems the person that wants their daughter to be in the film, and then
the guy pulled out,
and then they will cleverly. They're the ones that are going to promise post money, right?
Yeah,
because that means that you have to pay up first.
Yeah,
exactly.
Daughter's in the film, and then they're gone.
Exactly. Oh,
it's great.
That's why I was gonna say our producer Phil Falcone. He's the unsung hero of Terrifier. He's the only guy, okay, and this was like on a whim that it happened like that, where I told him what I was looking to do, and he said, "Yeah, I'm in. I'll give you the money," and he gave me the money the next day. Like that's the guy. If they don't give you the money the next day, you're not gonna.
You're never gonna see it.
Yeah.
So here's a big question, and I know that this could be like kind of a controversial, but so you start out at 50,000. And all of a sudden, you get 220,000. Mm-hmm. Do you pay your crew?
Oh yeah, we pay them.
Were you going to pay them at 50,000?
Mm-hmm. Whatever.
But
it wasn't going to be 50,000. We had more. The 50,000 was for that additional scene.
Oh, gotcha. Right. But you paid your crew.
Yeah, we paid everybody. But okay. So Dave, like on the first movie, we didn't. I think that was our budget for the first movie.
Right.
We started
right now
5,000, and then it wound up going to like 55.
See,
post and everything.
That's the thing, is that I want to absolutely applaud you for that, because it seems that paying the crew has become kind of it's independent films didn't start, or back in the day, independent, because I worked at the beginning of independent films back in New Line Cinema. And the idea wasn't that you weren't going to pay anybody to do it.
Yeah.
And these days, it almost seems like that's a given.
Mm-hmm.
But and I can understand. I mean, there's a lot of competition out there, and part of it is you're trying to prove that you can, that you know how to do something, because there is no other proving ground for it. There isn't a test that you can take that says, "Oh God, I can make a film and make money."
Yeah.
There isn't the I can make money test, the written test. So, being as that doesn't exist, I have to absolutely applaud you 100% for it, on the second time coming back. If you're coming back, paying the crew.
Oh,
That's a slow and heavy clap from me.
I appreciate it.
Well, the crew is the most essential part of this film. It's just like, that's the thing. It's just like, we didn't have a huge crew, but the crew we had, everybody was absolutely essential for what we were doing. We couldn't have done anything if one of those people was gone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah. How big was your crew?
3, 4, 5. Maybe somewhere around 11, maybe
11, yeah.
people, give or take. You know, we'd have some extra PAs come in here and there and stuff like that. But I mean, just like a key, probably 11 people.
Yeah.
Hey, Mick, can we do story time?
Sure. What?
We have gotten stories from David last episode, nothing from Damien. So let's get a Terrifier story from Damien.
This is absolutely something that we have to do.
Yes.
Damien, now let me set this up for you, because
Set the tone, set the mood.
I'm going to set the tone for you, because here's the story I want from you.
Uh-oh.
When you think of a story, there's got to be a story that you think to yourself, yeah, this is the motherfucking story that I'm going to get my beers on, right? So here's what I want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear the story that you get a round of beers on.
Well, Dave, what was your story? The SWAT team story?
Yeah.
I thought so.
It's a great story.
Okay, so that one's out.
Yeah.
He's like, damn it.
Damn it. Yeah.
No, that's not my story. I got to be honest. There's really, like, I was in such a fog shooting that movie. Like, I had no sleep. It was really insane. So I have like little moments, little memories here and there. But one of the standouts, let me see. One of the standouts wasn't actually filming. It was the night before we filmed the hacksaw scene, and there was no crew, special effects team to come in and help us do that. Now, not in terms of the special effects makeup, because I did all that. Did I lose you guys?
Nope, you're full screen.
It's great. You're
front and center.
Focusing on you.
Gotcha. So we had all the special effects, Catherine's fake body, everything like that. But we did not know how to hang a person upside down by their ankles. What this contraption was going to be, So it was literally me and my buddy George, who's the co-producer, DP, and he said, "I'll build this thing. I'll build this frame. It's basically going to be like a swing set." So we went to Home Depot. We got all the stuff. I'm not good at building things like that. So I'm basically just like handing him tools and watching him construct this thing. And the whole, we're shooting.
Wait. Home Depot for all your maniacal needs.
It's Art's candy store, really, when you think about it.
So it's like 4 o'clock in the morning, and like the crew's literally going to start coming in like a few hours to start shooting this, and we have to hang a woman upside down. This thing has to be safe, and I'm like, this is crazy. Let's call this off, man. I don't know if this is going to work. So he's like, trust me, it's going to work, and he builds it, and then we're like, okay, but is this going to hold her? And he's like, listen, man. He's like, if it holds me, it'll hold her. He's like, so I'll test it out. So,
if you know George, it makes it funnier because it's like, the way George is.
Big guy. He's like 6'4", 200, I don't know at the time, 30, 40 pounds. So he gets up, we get on this platform, and he locks his ankles in and to these chains. And I help him, he's holding himself up. I pull the platform away, and then I help him swing down, and he starts hanging and he starts holding, right? And then, but we didn't think this through. And then he starts panicking, and he's like, all right, it works. He's like, get me up. And it's like, get you up. You're 240 pounds now, and I'm alone. I don't know how to do this. So he starts freaking out. And long story short, I just had to use all my might. I just squat down and I pull him up, and I just feel everything in my back just start tearing as I'm bringing him up to the top. And I got him up, and thankfully he can get out and everything. But just like moments like that where you're waiting till you come down to the wire to build that for the most important scene and making sure it's safe and this and that. So that stood out to me because that whole thing was insane, and I still have the bad back because of it. So
I had a wheel of death. I think it was on Freddy's Nightmares, and literally we had this actress that we had to like spin her like a wheel of death. And
right.
The director kept going, no, it's faster and faster. And it was a real woman, right? And finally the director walks up and goes, no, it's like this. And he just grabs this wheel and just spins it as hard as he can. But he's standing right off of camera as we're filming her, and she pukes.
Oh my!
And it goes right down the middle of his face, all the way down him.
So he got his comeuppance for that.
That's what? It was like the fastest karma you've ever seen in your life.
Oh my God!
It's what I like to think of as 2-second karma, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
That's beautiful. He learned his lesson.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So.
Directors never learn their lessons. God damn it! Are you kidding me?
We push as far as we can.
Who's the DP on Terrifier 2?
The same, George.
The same. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys got a great look out of it. It's very colorful. It's having like the little points of light that are colored in the background and stuff like that have absolutely no reason to be there other than they fucking
just aesthetically, yeah.
I the thing is you're looking at a production designer who.
Oh, we love that, don't we, Vic?
Oh yeah, we explain that all the time. I have gotten these kind of questions for years and years, and you go, so, well, why did you do that? Because that Freddy or Leatherface didn't do this and this because this and this and this and why did that window explode behind him? Well, because it was fucking cool. That's why.
Exactly.
God damn it.
Don't overthink anything. Some things are just cool. Some
things are just cool, and it used to be. I used to be like that. I used to want to walk into my sets, weird sets.
Yeah.
You'd walk into and you go, I'm going to make this cool, and I used to like get there the day before. We would be putting things together, and production designer is like a busy motherfucker. And I would get there, and my construction coordinator would know that if I didn't think it was cool, we were going to tear the fucker down and rebuild it that night.
That sounds like George too. That's one of his catchphrases. Like, hey, Dame, I think this would be cool. This is cool.
Yeah.
This is cool.
It'll be really cool. So yeah.
I remember Roy Wagner's answer. One time I was on set. Roy Wagner was doing Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and we were doing the scene with the nun up in the belfry, right? And we were on location, and there was like no way to light the top of this building. The belfry in there, the ceilings came in at a 45, right?
Oh.
And I don't know if you know anything about lighting as far as when ceilings come in at a 45 like this, you have nowhere to light from.
Right.
I mean, nowhere. I mean, that's that little area out there, that's where you normally light. So when you don't, you have all kinds of problems. And so like every Roy put lights around in the room, and literally I said, well, you take any of the any saturation you want and cover them, and they would cause silhouettes around the room, but of stuff, but you didn't know where the light was coming from, but at least you got some light. And the director walks in and goes, well, why is that box over there in that corner like that. And I remember he said the most bullshit line I ever. It's like the classic. He goes, "What's the motivation behind that?" Right? You knew that was coming, right? What's the motivation behind that box over in the corner? And Roy turns to him and goes, "The motivation is I have a 2K behind that."
With my DP all the time when we're doing
right, exactly.
Yeah. He's like, but the moon's over there. I'm like, it doesn't matter. I need to
give a fuck where the fucking moon is. You know, I'll give you the best of that kind of logic. I got into a really long argument on Nightmare on Elm Street 4 because I wanted it to come out. I wanted the shot of Kincaid spinning to come all the way out. That optical shot, I wanted it to come all the way out until it was a planet, right? The planet, right? It's an iconic shot, right?
Yes.
But here's the thing. They kept returning to us these visuals of the camera going up further and up further and up further. And every 2 weeks they'd ask for $15,000 more, and I'd sneak it out of my budget. And we kept going up and up and up. And finally I'm like, God damn it, you motherfuckers. Look at the storyboards. It's a planet out here like this. And this motherfucking optical guy comes in. He says, look, Mick, here's the thing. And you know, you can tell you're going to hear absolutely supreme bullshit when somebody goes, here's the thing, right? Okay. Oh boy, here's the thing. And by the way, I was in his office, just like literally drawing circles on everything in his office, the walls, the doors, the whole thing. I was fucking pissed. And he goes, here's the problem. Look, here's the thing. The thing is as you pull away from the planet is bigger than you think. And I go, what? And he goes, as you pull away, if you're pulling away from the planet, as you go, you're going to have to go for hours at 200,000 miles an hour to get out so that you can actually see the whole planet. I was like, wait a minute. Hold on.
Are you bringing actual physics?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. You're bringing actual physics into a Nightmare on Elm Street film. I can't even fucking believe I'm hearing this, right? I was like, look, here's what. You know what? I'm going to give you $5,000 more, and when I see the rest of this film, it better be a motherfucking planet. It better be goddamn. And the great thing is you can tell that he was getting pissed at me as things went on, because the first part of his pullback is this beautiful model, right? And then it comes back a little bit further. You know, it always stopped with an argument. The bottle came back, and then there was an argument, right? Yeah. And after that argument, it came back with what was called a reactive matte at the time, which is basically a painting with a bunch of little lights and it's blinking, right?
Okay.
And then another argument, and then it was just a matte, and then the final look of it was kind of an optical version of doing it with crayons. But I got what I wanted, so I really couldn't say much.
That is awesome, man. It still holds up. Let me ask you something in all seriousness. How does it feel to be associated with not only arguably one of the best sequels of all time? We're talking about Part 3, but that's legitimately one of the greatest horror movies ever made. It really is. It's one of my favorites of all time.
Me too.
3 years old.
That's the one I always name in my top 5.
Say that we don't come close to it, but we're like that's one of our templates, our inspiration for where we're trying to take Terrifier 2. Like we've said that a long time ago.
Well, honestly, I didn't know that. You don't know because you're in Hollywood and you're just surrounded by the world's most competitive idiots, right? We're all idiots, and I mean, if we really knew what we were doing, nobody would let us do it, right? So the thing is I didn't know until 2 years later when I saw Chinese Ghost Story. I didn't know that we had really created something until I saw it absolutely copied almost frame by frame by the fucking Chinese, and I was like, oh yeah, I guess you've made it win, right?
Do you have a particular sequencer in that one that you're still so proud of, or
which one, 3 or 4?
3.
3.
Both, Both.
Yeah. 3 in 3 it would have to be Philip walking with the arms,
Yes,
puppeting,
that's
because
exactly
you know
what I was thinking of.
I got to tell you, I got to see the original uncut version of that. And oh god, you just have no fucking idea, because it was just this huge involved, you know, where you see the hand come down and just grab the veins and just rip them out. I gotta tell you something. Just walked out of this screening room down at in Burbank, just you know, I mean, literally going to yourself, that is too far, even for me, even for everything that I've seen done, it was too far. But that's my favorite on 3. On 4, I like a lot of the stuff on 4, but I love the junkyard on 4. The junkyard,
yes.
I got to make something really fucking epic there, and it was really, really difficult to do, but it was great.
Oh man, it's legendary stuff, man. I applaud you for that.
Thank you. But you guys, you know what? You guys are doing such great stuff on and you know, like we always had the thresholds of film and the thresholds of you know, expensive crews living in LA and you know, and all the money that was required behind us, and the fact that a $500,000 camera package was required and all the rest of this. But the bar has changed so much, you know, and I think that there's just so many cool things that we have yet to do again, or to do in this period of filmmaking. I just feel really super excited about it.
Oh man. So yeah.
And now it's my turn to tell you guys you have to go away. I love having you guys on it, and when the actual film itself, that's Terrifier 2, for those of you who are not paying attention, when that comes out, I want you on again. Can you tell me how to get a hold of you guys and all that?
I'm on Facebook, Terrifier 2 official. Primarily, I'm on Instagram at Damien_Leone. That's where I give most of the updates. I have YouTube channel, Damien Leone. So,
go. How about you, Dave?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram under David Howard Thornton, and I also have a Cameo page as well, David H. Thornton, in case anybody wants me to do any birthday videos or something like that. So, I do them all the time.
I'll be in touch with you. Okay. Yeah. Hey, and by the way, being as I've been hawking my book lately, you guys are both going to buy my book. You can get back to me privately on that. So. Okay, let's turn it over to our hostess of the mostest, who, by the way, has just finishing up the 100th episode of his famous Gore and More podcast.
Fantastic! Congratulations!
Thank you. My fans got together and hosted the episode for me, and it's kind of like a retrospective of the last 99 episodes.
Nice.
A lot of fun.
You know, you've made it when they do one of those type of episodes,
right?
Look how young and innocent I was then.
Yes, you know, you've made it when they're laughing at you. I mean, with you. I mean, with you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'll take it away.
Yeah.
So, guys, thank you for watching another episode of the Rabbit Hole Podcast featuring Mick Strawn and myself, TJ Bowser, the host with the motherfucking most. Find this podcast on projectlouder.net and, of course, on Facebook and Instagram at Project Louder.